Have you ever really stopped to think about how your body turns the fat in your food into pure, usable energy? Well, today, we're diving deep into that process. It's an incredible molecular journey that's happening inside all of us literally right now.
So think about your muscles, your heart, your liver. These are the real powerhouses of your body, and they absolutely love running on fat. You can see here, this is the main theater of operations. But what's really interesting is what's not on the list. Your brain. It can't use fatty acids directly. So the big question is, for the parts of you that can, how do they unlock all that incredible power?
The answer is this amazing process called beta oxidation. The best way to think about it is like a microscopic engine humming away inside the mitochondria, the power plants of our cells. It's a whole odyssey that takes a single fat molecule and just systematically dismantles it for a massive energy payout.
So let's kick off this journey. First things first, we need to meet the molecule at the very center of our story. And here it is. This is our protagonist, palmitic acid, a nice long 16-carbon chain. Now for this whole thing to work, the key is to attack one very specific spot. See the carbon that's labeled beta? The entire goal, the whole point of beta oxidation, is to mess with and break the bond right next to it. That is our target.
But before we can start breaking bonds and making energy, our fatty acid has to get prepped. And like any good investment, this is going to require a small upfront cost. Okay, so this first step happens out in the cytoplasm, so not even inside the mitochondria yet. Our fatty acid gets activated when it combines with something called coenzyme A. But for that to happen, the cell has to spend some energy. And as you can see here, the way it spends its ATP is pretty unique. You see, normally a cell spends ATP by breaking one high-energy bond, turning it into ADP. But this activation step is so important, the cell goes all in. It breaks two high-energy bonds, converting ATP all the way down to AMP. That releases a huge burst of energy, making the effective cost 2 ATP. Think of it like putting 2 coins in a vending machine just to guarantee it starts working. All right, our molecule is now activated, it's ready to go. But there's a problem. The main event, the oxidation part, happens inside the mitochondria, and there's a heavily guarded border in the way. Yeah, that inner mitochondrial membrane, it's like a really strict border crossing. It's just not going to let our big activated acyl-CoA molecule pass through. All the energy-making machinery we need is on the inside, but our fuel is stuck on the outside. But don't worry, biology has an incredibly clever solution, the carnitine shuttle. It's basically a molecular vehicle swap. First, the fatty acid part gets handed off from coenzyme A to a new vehicle, carnitine. Then, a special transporter carries that across the membrane. Once it's inside, the fatty acid gets handed right back to a new coenzyme A molecule and it's ready to go. It's a perfect handoff system. Okay, our fatty acid paid the activation fee, it crossed the border, and it is now officially inside the mitochondrial matrix. The main event, that engine of deconstruction, can finally begin. The heart of beta oxidation is this repeating 4-step spiral. Its only job is to weaken that bond next to the beta carbon and then chop off a 2-carbon piece. And if you want to remember the steps, there's a simple little mnemonic. OHOC. Oxidation, hydration, oxidation, and cleavage.
Step 1. Oxidation. An enzyme comes in and just plucks off 2 hydrogen atoms, and that creates a double bond. Now those hydrogens are carrying high-energy electrons, which get captured by another molecule to create one FADH2. And that, my friends, is our first little energy payout.
Next up is hydration. Pretty straightforward. An enzyme adds a water molecule right across that new double bond we just made. Now, this step doesn't generate any energy, but it is absolutely critical for setting up what comes next. It's all about strategically placing an oxygen atom right where we need it. Step 3 is our second oxidation of the cycle. Another enzyme swoops in and oxidizes that hydroxyl group we just added with the water. This reaction creates another, even higher energy carrier, one molecule of NADH. So, in just 3 steps, we've already cashed in on energy in 2 different ways. And finally, step 4, cleavage. The moment we've been building up to. The enzyme thiolase comes in, attacks, and cuts the chain right at our target bond. And boom, it releases a 2-carbon molecule called acetyl-CoA, which is major fuel for the cell. And what's left behind?
A fatty acid chain that's now 2 carbons shorter, ready to jump right back into the spiral at step 1.
So that 4-step process just keeps repeating over and over again. And now for the really fun part, let's do the math and see just how much energy we've managed to unlock from our single molecule of palmitic acid. This spiral staircase is the perfect way to picture it. Our 16-carbon palmitate goes down the stairs, and with each turn, each OH-OC cycle, a 2-carbon acetyl-CoA gets released. Now, for a 16-carbon chain, you might think that means 8 cycles, but it actually only takes 7. Why? Because that 7th and final cut releases the last 2 acetyl-CoA molecules at once. So 7 cycles gives us 8 molecules of acetyl-CoA.
Okay, let's tally this up. Each of those 7 cycles gave us 1 FADH2 and 1 NADH. When those get cashed in, they produce about 28 ATP. Pretty good. But those 8 acetyl-CoA molecules we made, they're even more valuable. They head into another process that generates a whopping 80 ATP. That brings our gross total to 108 ATP. But we can't forget that initial investment, right?
After we subtract the 2 ATP it cost us to get the whole process started, we are left with a massive net yield of 106 ATP from a single molecule of fat. It's just incredible. This really shows you the amazing energy density of fat and why it's the body's go-to fuel for the long haul.
So, the next time you think about energy, remember this amazing, intricate molecular engine. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If this one little process is so powerful and so complex, what other incredible systems are humming away inside you, keeping you going every single second?